So in this video, we're going to cover how to find the tempo in a beat, right? So let's say if you're a rapper or a singer-songwriter, and a producer sent you a beat, or you bought a beat off of a beat store, and you're trying to figure out the tempo because it's not labeled in the title. I'll show you 3 different ways to figure that out. If you're using Logic Pro X, perfect, because that's what I'm using. So I'll show you exactly some cool tools in this program. If you're not, don't worry about it. There's a third method that is probably about 80% of the video is going to cover that third method. I call it the manual method. It's something that I developed myself. It's kind of like figuring out the tempo like a DJ would. I know a lot of you want to figure this out quickly and get to your project, but this is one of those things where if you learn it once the right way, you won't have to learn it again. All right, so I have a couple beats pulled up, right? We've got 4 here. On the first one, I'm going to pull up the BPM counter plugin. If you don't know where it is under audio, right here, audio effects, to insert a plugin, and you're going to go to metering and then BPM counter. Now, for those of you that are experienced with Logic, you probably know this already. Hang tight, because the manual method is something that I guarantee you probably don't know, and is going to be worth the wait. But everyone that's a singer-songwriter, rapper, and you're using Logic Pro, you'll slap the BPM plugin on it. Make sure it's on the right track. I'm going to hide everything else and just hit play. I'm gonna turn my click off, and you can see it's figured out it's 115. Now I'll go to type in 115 up here on the top, and you want to make sure that you're starting right in the beginning. This track here starts at the beginning, but sometimes you have an intro or you have something with like a few bars before the track. You're going to want to maybe cut it off so that way you can line it up. And I'm going to do some cutting up and lining. See right here, this is a little off, so I'll go ahead and move it on a little bit. I'm zooming in. So we zoomed in really low, and I can hear that it starts on the 1. Okay, and now I'll turn on the metronome just to verify. There we go. And usually I'll turn the track down a little bit so I can hear the metronome real clear. That's locked in. The only thing I would check is the back end, just to make sure the back end is right. Because if the tempo is off by 1 BPM, it may sound locked in the beginning, and then at the end it'll fall off. Okay, it's locked in. I can hear that, so we're good. Now, the next method would be using the DJ app. The DJ app will tell you the key too. There is another app called Mixed In Key. You can look that one up. I have it. I'm not going to show it to you because it's $50. The DJ app is cheaper. The iPad and iPhone, I believe there's a free version, and then you have to pay to upgrade to some other features. But you can import your song or your track into your phone or into this program on your laptop. Just drag and drop it in there, and then play it, and it'll analyze it and tell you what the BPM is and even what the key is. So I've got it pulled up here. Let's go ahead and click on something like this. Right here, I see the time is 2 minutes and 47 seconds. But if I click on it, it analyzed it, 91 beats per second, and it's an E flat. So this is good if you're using auto-tune and you're trying to figure out what the key is. It's an E flat, right? So that's 91, right? Let's try something else. Let's try this one here. 134 E. Okay, so that's a quick and easy way to figure out the BPM using software. So if you're a music producer, this part is really going to apply to you. You're going to want to learn this, and you trust me, this is going to be a good skill for you to have. This is what I call a manual method, something I figured out. Maybe others do this. I feel like I kind of got this from the DJs, because DJs know how to do this. They're very used to listening to records and being able to identify tempos, and then that kind of gives you the knowledge of knowing, okay, trap is in between, let's say 60 and 75 or whatever, or if you double it up, it's 130 to 145 or 150 or somewhere around there. If it's like classic hip hop, it might be around 80 to 100. So yeah, you kind of develop that type of experience over time, and keep that in mind as you're finding the tempos and listening to your track and be like, okay, what kind of track is this? Okay, then it might be somewhere around here. Let me figure that out. And this works in any DAW. If you use FL Studio right now, just keep watching, because you can do this in FL too. And I've done this in FL. If you're using Pro Tools, Studio One, whatever you're using, this is going to work. So the manual method is simply about messing with the BPM, listening to the metronome, and figuring out, based off what the metronome is telling you, if you're slower or faster, and then making those adjustments until you figure it out. Let's go ahead and try that. So I'll mute this track. We're going to hide this. We don't need this. I've got 3 other tracks here. We're going to use these 3 tracks, and we're going to figure out what the BPM is. All right, I'll reset this to 120, and we'll mute this. We'll unhide this, hide the rest, so we can just focus on this. And let's play this so that we can hear what this material is, and what kind of get an idea what the range may be. So I'll turn the metronome off. Zoom in a little bit. Turn it up just a little bit. Okay, so now let's count with it, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So we have the feel of the tempo. I think I started on the second bar, but it doesn't matter. But at least we know it's 1, 2, 3, right? The vibe, the tempo is like that, right? So the other thing we need to do is we need to figure out where the 1 is, where the first beat hits. So that way we can cut everything else off and line it up to R1. So in Logic Pro, typically, let me reset this. Typically, your session will look like this, where the 1 will start here. I always hover, and then once you see this icon, I click and open it up, because I like to have a little space before the 1, and I like to start on the 1. So let's figure this out. The beat starts right around here. And then what I'll do is I'll grab this cycle loop. It's a loop, but it's called cycle loop, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and zoom in. I'm using my mouse and the Option key to kind of zoom in there. Play it again. So it's somewhere in there. So let's go ahead and cut all this other stuff off, right? And I also have my Command key, which turns into this selection marquee tool, right? So I hit Command, and then I can chop stuff off and move things around if I need to. Let's undo that. So if you're wondering, you set that here. You could also change it to scissors if you want. I like the marquee a little better. We're going to use the scissor tool right now. And the way I like to do it is I have Escape, which is the old way of how Logic used to be set up. I think now, if you have the new key commands, like you have a fresh install Logic, I think Escape won't be it. I think you have to hit T. But if you want to change your key commands like me, you can go to Key Command, Logic Pro, Key Command, Edit, and then type in whatever you want to change. And there you go. I think, yeah, there we go. This is another key command that I'll be showing you in a second. Okay, so let's go back and figure out where that 1 is. I'll slide everything over. Here, let me zoom in there. And this wave is kind of thick, so okay, I just open it up and I can see that something starts here. Let's listen to that. That may be the bass. Yeah. So you can hear it goes, doo-doo. That's not what we want. So let's shave that off. And that's the kick right there. We'll just line it up somewhere. I like to have my snap on to smart, but for this case, if it's not lining up on the 1, see right here, I just zoomed in. There's all this empty space here. Let's just kind of manually bring it up there. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be around there, as close as possible. You're going to hear it with the click. When you hear the click on the beat, you're going to hear if it's perfect or not. Okay, so let's figure out this tempo now. 2, 3, 4. All right, so now we have that is on. Let's move everything over to the first bar. Okay, and we're gonna bring this back over. I think it didn't snap all the way. There we go, something like that, right? Okay. All right, turn the click on. Turn it down. That sounds way faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, way faster. So let's slow it down. We're gonna bring it all the way down to like 90. Let's try 90. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2. You hear that click is way too fast. And I like to turn the track up or down, usually down, so I can hear the click over it and really focus on the click, right? If you can't hear it, let's solo the beat, take the click off. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Let's mute the beat. Let's listen to the click. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear that's a little faster, right? So I'm going to turn the beat back on and let's just slow it down a little bit more now. 2. Okay, so it's not that. Let's bring it down to 86, 87. 2. Still sounds a little too fast. Let's bring it down more. Now it sounds too slow. That click is dragging, right? So let's bring that click up a little bit. Close. Sounds like it's locked in, but let's check the back half. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's it. So I always check the back, right? So front, it sounds like it's on, check the back. We found the tempo. So the tempo for this is 83. And keep in mind, it should be a whole number or by 0.5 increments, right? So 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, or if it's in between that, if it's not 81 and 82, it may be 81.5. If it's not 82 and 83, if it sounds like it's in between, it might be 82.5. So a good producer usually uses that standard, right? Someone that, and I've had it happen to me before years ago, where my BPM is 83.7899992, right? But more than likely, when you start your beat, you kind of you round it off. All right, so just keep that in mind. It should be whole number or 0.5 increment. Now, the other thing I like to do is sometimes I like to delay it over, which like we know it's locked in, right? Because we can hear it here and we can hear it at the end. But let's say the kick, the click is just a little too rushed. It's locked in, it's the right tempo, but it's a little bit before the beat. I can take the whole beat and slide it over slightly, right? Move it over left, move it over right, whichever way. And I'm not gonna do that myself like this. I mean, you could. Right now the smart is on, so it's just snapping it around. We don't want that. You would take that off and then move it around. But I want to do smaller increments than that. So let's undo that. And I don't recommend doing it that way. In Logic and most programs, there's a delay function where you can do like a delay shift, where you're just shifting it. In Logic, if you don't see this inspector panel here, you hit I, and then you're going to go to more, and then you see a delay thing here. You can click on this and it'll give you some values. You don't need that. All you got to do, hover over here on this blank spot, click and drag up to shift to the right, or click and drag down, negative value, to shift the track to the left way. All right, so let's undo that and double click. I can just zero it out to go back. Listening now. I've got the track real low. Let's lay the track back a little bit so I can bring it up, bring it up. It's gonna move it to the right a little bit. 42 clicks. Too laid back, that's too laid back. Let's try to move it to the left a little bit. There you go. That's good. You hear how that click is right on? Ah. It's right on there. It's locked in. And you want to do that because you're going to record vocals to this, and the vocals are going to lock in. And if you have the metronome playing at a certain part, when you need the metronome. Sometimes you need the metronome when you're recording. Maybe there's a break and you're like rapping and the beat stops and you need something to help keep the flow. You want to make sure that the click is just locked in properly, right? All right, so we're good with that. All right, good. So let's go ahead and mute that. Let's try the next one. All right, so here's the next track. Let's turn the click off. Let's listen to the track a little bit and kind of get an idea of what we're listening to, what we have. All right, so there's a bit of an intro with no music, no beat, right? And having a drum beat really helps us with the tempo. And then I can see the beat starts right here, so I'm gonna wanna cut this. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Right, so I can hear the tempo. That's the tempo. Let's go ahead and try something. So we could do either the like 70, 80, somewhere around there, or we could do double time, which is like 130. Let's do double time. So I'm going to start somewhere at I'm just going to say 130. And the other thing we need to do is cut all this off. So let's go ahead and cut all this off. Let's move this up here. I was a little sloppy with the cut, but that's fine because we're going to fine tune it right now. Let's open this up right around there. And we'll drag that in right there. Zoom in a little bit, that's fine. Somewhere right there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Not yet. All right, so let's go ahead and listen with the click. Turning the track down. That sounds way off. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So let's bring it down a little bit. 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so with this track, you can see the waveform a lot better just because of the dynamics in this track. Maybe it's not super compressed. In the other tracks, they were kind of hard to see. Since you can see it here, you can also notice that as I adjust this, like right here, I can see this is where the hook starts. Let's play it. Right, because there's more, the wave is fatter right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This should probably start right here on the 17. So I can kind of noodle it in there, somewhere around there, and it might be 105. Let's listen. There you go. 105. And that click sounds like it's tight. Let's go ahead, check down here. Bring it up a little bit. So we got it. Another trick, if you want, you can pan to the right. That way you can hear the music and you can hear that click. That'll be pretty helpful if you're having a hard time hearing it. All right, so we're good on that one. That one's done. Let's go ahead and do another one. So I'll open this up and try this with your tracks. All right, we're gonna hide everything else. Let's see what we've got here. Turn the click off. See the beat starts there. Let's cut everything else out. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I can kind of feel the tempo, right? Let's just listen to the click. 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. Sounds close. Sounds a little slow, a little slower, but it sounds really close. So let's go ahead and find that first kick. Right there. That 808 kick combination just slaps right there and you can really hear it, okay? Let's zoom in. We're a little over, but it's fine. We can leave it there. So now, let's go ahead and make a change here. Let's maybe speed it up a little, 107. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 bars. Might be 8 bars. I think it's We are, no, it's about right. 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. That tempo is too slow. Speed it up a little bit. 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3. So the tempo was fine right in the beginning, right? And then it fell off. But then look right here. It's off. So 3, let's figure out if it's faster or slower. It sounds like it's going too fast, so I'll drop it down, maybe 2, 2, 3, 1. Let's bring it to 114. I think that's it. Turn it down a little bit. Yeah, that's it. You can hear it's locked in. Let's go ahead and move to the end, check the end. Yeah, that's it. And there you go. That's how you find out the BPM in more than one way. My favorite, once again, is this manual way because it doesn't matter what digital audio workstation you're using, it will work in any of the DAWs. As long as it's a linear based where you can throw it in like this and you have a tempo and metronome, you can figure it out. If you have any questions, please post down below. I do read the comments. And if you have any suggestions for any new videos, I'm trying to pump these videos out pretty fast. So if you have something on there next week, the video might be up. And thanks for watching.